over. It's over. You're off and running, and regret is right around the corner. And I've lived it, and I'm desperately trying to change. And I won't change entirely, and that's okay. I like who I am, and I like how emotional I am. I just don't like when I regret, things that I know I shouldn't have said. But a lot of things that I said, I should have said. But some things I wish I wouldn't have. So again, I think that comes as we grow. But that was the message I wanted to share with you tonight. That last time it was about what, and that's important. Keep researching articles. Keep looking into pitching experts and seeing what they believe and hitting experts and keep doing all that stuff. That's great. But you need to spend just as much time on what you believe, why you believe it, making sure your principles are locked and solid, and you don't deviate from your principles. Be process oriented. Don't succumb to results. Anyone can succumb to results. Commit to your principles and your process. Be willing to telescope. Understand it. Look into, when do I want to communicate this? When do I want to communicate this? There is a time and a place for both. You could have a team of 13 kids, and you could have 7 that desperately want to grow, and you could have 6 that might be quitting within 2 years. And that message has to be all about this perspective. They don't want to hear a growth position. They just need constant validation. So just keep monitoring what you believe. Keep monitoring how you're perceived and what you say, and challenge your beliefs, but hold firm with your principles. And I would love to help you establish certain principles that have helped me. Maybe ours will be one and the same, or maybe you'll be a little bit different. But I assure you that once you commit to certain principles, coaching is easier. You're not swayed by others' opinions as much. When a parent yells at you because you don't know what you're doing, you can be Mr. Teflon because you were consistent with your principles, and I would do the same thing again next week. So just give that some thought and understand that when someone's talking to you, they might not be wrong. They just might be coming from a different perspective. So I think if you just think like that, and I've got you have that picture, I'll probably tweak it a little bit, but I like it. I shared it with some people, and I like it. So any other questions? You guys are going to get out of here a little bit sooner than not. Yep.
Just quick question, just your thoughts on, you're talking about principles, and you touched on fielding and hitting.
Yep.
Anything with pitching?
Principles?
Yes.
So the reason I hesitate with pitching is because the metrics that determine a good pitcher change. I have no idea. I know at the micro level what determines a good pitcher. How many guys you get out, right? Like at this level, a good pitcher is how many guys do you get out. But the more you back up, and in this danger zone, that what makes a good pitcher is so blurry, right? Like everyone is infatuated with a radar gun, and how hard you throw sort of trumps how many guys you get out. So when you ask me, do I have any principles? No. So I'll say this. We train with intent. We train with intent. We ask you, to throw with purpose. But everyone's throwing with purpose now. Like everyone is starting to throw harder. And I hope he doesn't get embarrassed. But Trent wasn't the hardest thrower, but he might have been his best pitcher. Like last year, like he was really, really talented. He had great success, and no one wanted to face him. But it wasn't because he had this overpowering fastball. It was because he had great command and multiple pitches, and he was just a competitor. So I guess I look at pitchers more in all, like, what's he good at? How can he beat us? Don't really have this steadfast position on. I'll say this: pitcher's got to be the toughest dude in the field. That's a principle I believe in. I've said that many times. Pitcher's got to be the toughest dude on the field, and I've heard Brett say this many times. When you're on the mound, you don't expect the defense to make plays. You're just appreciative when they do. And if you take that mindset to the mound, when they make an error behind you, you're not kicking your glove or kicking the dirt. you literally just are thankful when they help you, but if they don't, that's okay too. You know, so because so many times when you think they're gonna help you and they don't, now you get out of the moment and now you've already beaten yourself a little bit. So I don't know if that's how you function a little bit, but as you get older, it's easier to do that, you know, but, so I suppose that is a principle with pitchers. You know, the message to the pitchers is you gotta be the toughest dude in the field every night.
And I think I hear what he said about all the other pieces, and with coaching, it's just like with hitting too, like the temptation to overcoach, right? All the verbals that we probably give pitchers because it's what was always
Absolutely.
told to us,
Yeah.
you know, and how you talk about the balance piece and how that can steal athletics. Like all of those pieces probably come into the pitching
Yeah.
component for us as well, is
Yeah.
like kind of stepping back and allowing people to create feels for pitchers. And I think that's what Baseball Ranch talks a lot about
Yep.
that too. Is
Now,
that,
I'll say this, like if someone were to say to me, all right, Kyle, just come on, give me one nugget to hang my hat on. If you were working with a pitcher, is there one thing that you would want to see? Yes, this is what I would want to see. So the way I evaluate if you have a chance to be a good pitcher is when the ball comes out of your hand, if your back leg doesn't have to come rushing forward, you have a chance. When you throw the ball and that right leg comes rushing forward, we've got mechanical things at play that may or may not be fixable. They might be, right? But the guys that have the ability to throw the ball and this right leg or this back leg literally can land as quietly as softly, if at all, those guys have a chance to be pitchers. Because what's happening is their body's moving independently. It's not like when this arm comes forward, this leg is attached to it, right? In order to create velocity, you need more links in the chain. And what I mean by that is the bigger the chain, the longer the whip, the more the tip moves faster. So these guys that throw and have this back leg be independent, just look for it, it's all over. I mean, everyone in the big leagues, you know, that back leg just sort of hangs freely. And in the bullpen, you'll see them warming up in the bullpen, and they'll throw a pitch, and it literally won't land, and they'll just catch it and retreat. And in the game, it only lands because it has to. Right, so that would be a principle. That whole idea of fielding position, we scrap. Like there's no fielding position. Anything else? So next week I'll probably tie these two. Or not next week.
January.
Yeah, January.
Mid-January.
We'll talk about just feedback, how to talk with your kids and your parents, and just general things of that, and really just tackle any other questions that you have. But
And for my part, you know, we're getting ready to start our facility practices January, February, March, except for the Jays, you guys are a little different. But, you know, just this idea of hearing some of the things that he's sharing about and how we can work together as coaches just to create some ideas in terms of how, you know, we're going to have 75 minutes of the facility to ourselves on half of our practices.
well, so now that will be some of the next
Awesome.
time too. So
Yeah.
man, I tell you what, we did something called the imagination drill. That was just, you still do that?
Mm-mm.
Oh, it was gold. Like they would just roll in. We doing the imagination drill tonight? We are doing the imagination drill. It's fun. They like it. We'll talk about the imagination drill.
But just working together to kind of take some of these
Yeah.
ideas that Kyle's sharing and just like, so you're not all on an island trying to figure this out on your own, but as coaches kind of come together, and I'm sure, Jason, you can contribute to that too, just in terms of how we can best use the facility and keep some of these principles in mind, because you put stress on yourself because you're like, I've only got 75 minutes, what can I cover and get that all done? And that's part of it, but also I'm hearing Kyle talk too about like importance, like we want them to come running in because they're going to want to love, you know, baseball's not meant to be played inside, we know that, but how can we create situations and scenarios where the kids are going to enjoy practice and get stuff out of it for sure. So it's good stuff. Yeah.
Good?
All right.
Yeah.
You talked a little bit about how the age as they're going through these stages is really important. Like,
Yeah.
you know, the birth date.
Yeah.
When is it, in your opinion, best for them to play up versus playing, like that kid that's in between in age, play up with his classmates
Yeah.
or play with his age group?
So my instinct is to say, my son played up. He played up until they went to the big field, because I didn't want him to play in the big field yet. That was a great experience for him. He definitely improved playing up, but he was a leadoff to 5-hitter always. right? It was never a stretch, okay? So I'm telling you that because don't ever move a kid up when he's on the margin, right? Don't move a kid up if he belongs in the 8 or 9 hole, or like that's not the thing to do. If you're going to move a kid up, he's got value, and he's probably a middle guy, and he's going to be valuable on the mound, and he's going to do all those things. Now, if he can do that, you know, and he fits and he's a good teammate, well, then move him up. Yeah, I mean, and that's okay to be selfish in that regard. I mean, you want to put him in a position to challenge him, and he adds value to that team. Absolutely. Now, the thing that I'm running into now is kids are starting to question with these early commitments. They go, well, you know, I'm really a 2023. Should I be playing with the 2023s when I'm playing with my age? I would say just keep playing with your age. Like don't move up because you think someone's not going to see you, or you're not going to get an opportunity because you're not playing in your grade class. Like and Perfect Game does some things at their venues where they do say, hey, it's this age, and if that's the case, then go take advantage of that and go play up and go do those things. But if it's just about playing baseball, don't get wrapped up in that yet. There is a time, and I get it, you know, but I'll say probably sophomore, junior year, right now, like things might accelerate in 3 years, but right now it's that sophomore, junior year where you might want to consider playing grade instead of age. Is that the question that you're interested in?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Joel, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree, and I think there's, as they get older too, there's plenty of opportunity to do both. Like you said, if whatever in that scenario or in that situation meets, you know, the best need of the player or whatever, you know, as they get older, you can always do age or grade. There's plenty of opportunity.
And I know Joel can speak to this too. What we find as they get older is the standard definition of a team changes. You know, at the young age, your team is a core 12, 13, same faces every weekend. By the time they're 15, 16, 17, you're like, oh, you're with us this week? Yeah, hey, how you doing? Right? So you've got this flexible makeup that's constantly changing, and that's because...
We call them parking lot teams.
Yeah,
you know, guys handing out jerseys in the parking lot,
Yeah.
collecting them after.
Well, because...
And it's, you know,
So if Trent has a tournament, but then all of a sudden he says, Dad, they're running a showcase at like St. Joe's, and man, I gotta, they know me, the coaches know me. They asked if I could show up. I think I need to go. You're probably right. You probably do need to go. So then Trent's gone. So now I got to find another arm on that team. So you reach out. It's an accepted practice almost. Like just show up. Let's play baseball. You know. So I'm just telling you, like that's what's out ahead of you, and don't take it personally. It's not like it's just the way that it goes. You know, as you get older, it's just the way it goes.
I mean, I look back, I remember when I told you, like, when I started my 8U team, I'm like, Kyle, I'm just committed to these guys. Like, this is my 8U team. Like, I'm just going to stick with them for a long time. Like, just in my mind, they were always going to play baseball, and they'd always play baseball for me. You know? Like, now that I'm at 12U, like, I've got, like, 3 of those kids, or maybe 4 of those kids.
And you remember what I said to you?
Yeah, you said, you might want to hold up on that, Doug. Like, you might want to, hey, zoom out a little bit, back out.
You spoke earlier about, like, you know, you get to your sophomore, junior year, you know, you start playing your grade. When you say it's fair that you can dismiss all that if, when you're playing with whether your age group or your graduation year, that if you're going to the bigger tournaments anyway, that all kind of gets dismissed?
Yeah. You know, there's something to be said, like when those coaches show up, and again, this is out in front, right? For some of you, it's arriving shortly, but if they do like to know, like when they recruit a certain class, like they're out searching for 2021s. Like when a guy hits a double off the wall, they like to know that's 2021, right? And I've seen them go on the Perfect Game profile and go, oh, he's a 20. No. You can see him literally get frustrated because, you know, so in that respect, those venues that say 2020, that's what they want. They want 2020s. And sometimes they get frustrated when he's a little younger because they're not in the frame of mind to know how the money gets allocated to that group. So they want to recruit a kid, and they're like, So, you know, other than those Perfect Game things that literally advertise it by their graduating class, I wouldn't get wrapped up. Right? Good.